Well, hello, Mr. Hunter.
Mr. Woods.
How are you?
Fu and Unca happy.
I'm sitting here with the door to my shed open tonight. The sun's out in Shetland.
Look at you.
And Carlin's taking the washing in. So there we go.
Is that your job, was it? You've done it yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't done it yet. She's making a very good job of it, though. Hi, dear.
Are you saying about my walking?
No, I was just saying to everybody at home that you're doing well. I've got the shed door open and you're taking the washing in. So, how's things today, Davey? Have you had a good weekend?
I've had a cracking weekend.
Yeah.
Very busy, very, very busy. Very busy.
Yeah. What's been on? Tell the people at home.
I was down at the Dundee Perth and Angus branch competition, pipe band competition, down in Dollar yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're down there. I was working until lunchtime for it, and then competing in the afternoon with the band. So,
Right.
yeah, pretty good.
And then you had quite a good day yesterday with the band.
We did, yeah. We played in the Grade 3 medley and came second overall.
Perfect. Very
and
good.
Getting two firsts for piping from the judges. So
Really
good.
Said that was a great result, getting 2 firsts in piping. And you beat my old band.
We did.
You put them into their place yesterday.
They did, however, beat us in the MSR, so that's a different story.
Well, yeah. But no, it's good. It's good to see it all coming back and stuff happening and things and nice competitions like that. Was that a nice venue, the Dollar there to have it?
Yeah, the grounds are fantastic.
Oh, that's good.
So it was small, but thank you as well. Small, but everything was there. Everything was nearby, and it was nice. It was nice community feel about it.
Brilliant. And then they had some Grade 1 bands even there yesterday as well.
They did, yeah. They had Inveraray, Police Scotland Federation, Shots, Fife Police, and Boghall.
Very good.
Boghall Basket. So, and then as well as Buchan and Portlethen playing up to Grade 1. If anyone gets a chance to look at the videos on the Big Grab Show's YouTube page, have a listen to Fife Police's medley at the end. They actually stop the chanters and keep the drones going as the Bagad band do. It's really, really effective.
Wow. That's pretty skillful. Pretty skillful to manage something like that.
I'd be really interested to see what the adjudicators say about that, because it's not the norm.
No, not the norm at all. So, but well, they're giving it a try. There's some Sarah there saying it's very dreich in Aberdeenshire today. Well, it's been absolutely lovely in Shetland today. Awful nice.
It's dreich here. It's raining all day.
So, I don't know what's exactly happened. Anyway, we have also tonight, before we have a wee track, we're going to hear your band for yesterday actually.
Yes.
But before that, our guest tonight, I'm really looking forward to our guest coming on tonight. It's the one and only Iain MacDonald, piper, and great musician. So really looking piper flautist, part of the famous MacDonald brothers, the 3 of them, for Glenouig. So we're really looking forward to that. It's going to be good. So we'll get Iain on in a wee while. But do you know, I was playing at a wedding last night in Shetland, and I think he's an ex-referee now, referee Hugh Dallas was there. And I kind of thought about it the way home when somebody said, there's a referee at the wedding tonight, and I thought, wait a minute, this is not a good start to married life, this, is it? If they need a referee, a professional referee at the wedding, just to get things going.
Especially in Shetland. And I'm sure Isabel will be well aware who Hugh Dallas is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She'll remember fine. Just say nice things about him. Right.
Yeah.
There we go. No, it was really nice. I got a nice chat with him. He was a nice fellow to speak to. It was good. Right. Tell us about your medley.
So, Grade 3 medley, we open up with the first 2 parts of the Gordon Duncan tune, The Stralach Turkeys.
All right.
We then go into a couple of jigs. The first jig is a tune by Alan MacDonald of Glenelg, and it's called
Oh, yes.
I Have It Somewhere. And that
Right,
goes into the Soup Dragon, which is another Gordon Duncan tune, followed
Right.
up by a slow air called The Ocean Cycle. It's a Gaelic tune. Don't ask me to pronounce the Gaelic. Then
Okay.
into the Strathspey King by G.S. McClellan. We then
For
go into
James Scott
Scott Skinner.
Skinner.
Yep.
Yeah,
We then go into The Man from Glengarry, nice traditional reel, and finish off
Okay.
with the Irish reel Richard Dwyer's.
Fantastic. Go for it.
So
Let's hear
here we
them.
go. Here we go.
Mackenzie Caledonia.
As you noticed there, it was kindly sponsored by the Big Rab Show.
Excellent. Well, Big Rab does a lot for the pipe band
He
world
does.
with piping.
And
We
just
did, he did serve a wee plug.
So- slight fib in what I said.
Oh, come on now.
The slow air is
Right.
a Gaelic song written by Callum and Rory MacDonald from Runrig.
All right, okay.
As
Right.
Alan points out.
Well, Alan Monroe's pointed that out and sorted that one. Right, okay, that's fine. Because probably Iain MacDonald, our guest, would have sorted you as well. Probably. One of them would have got you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you what, let's not mess with the Gales tonight. Let's just leave it alone. Leave it alone.
But yes,
Right.
but it's a lovely tune. I played it with my previous band, the RAF, but a different setting.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I've
Right.
been playing it for a number of years now, in different variations.
Magic. Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful guest for you all the way from the west coast of Scotland tonight. Absolutely delighted. Please keep sharing the show about. We've got this man. I've been after him for a wee while, and I'm awful glad he's decided to come on and have a blether with us, with Davey and myself, and speak about all things piping tonight, and flute playing and whistle playing, and just generally have a bit of crack. We'll be fine. So, and he'll have to forgive our ignorance in Gaelic language because it's just non-existent. We even got John Joyden Lop on to help us out, but I'm not sure how it helped
It
us.
really helped.
I don't know if it did help us.
We didn't
But
learn
anyway,
nothing.
ladies and gentlemen, can we welcome, please, originally from Glenelg, the Iain MacDonald. We'll bring on Ian. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Davey. How you doing?
Hi, Ian. How's it going?
Good. How are you getting on tonight?
Oh, great.
How's Benbecula? Is it nice and sunny out the other day?
It's a beautiful day today.
Yeah.
Nice and warm.
Last time I saw you, Ian, was when I was out and I got fog bound there. I was out doing a thing at the UHI, and I ended up there for an extra couple of days because Shetland just became the other end of the world. So it's not the easiest bit to get to, actually. It's a number of flights. I think when I flew out to go for Shetland, it was Shetland on to Inverness, and then Inverness to Stornoway, and then Stornoway down to Benbecula.
Yeah.
It was quite a
Well,
haul.
they do keep changing things quite a lot. I mean, we used to have a direct flight to Inverness.
Right.
Cancelled that again now as well. So
Yeah, we've lost our one as well, actually. Yeah,
Joyce.
so awful nice to have you on. You're still playing away, and
not playing very much, but yeah, I do a wee bit of play the whistle and dabble in a couple of things. I don't play the pipes anymore, or
okay.
or the flutes because of the MS.
Yeah. And then I mean, you've worked at the college and that there, and we'll speak about that later on. Who you're working for now as well, and it's been great though. You've had a chance to meet so many of the young players and have a crack with them and get through.
Oh yeah. Great.
Pass on the knowledge.
There was a young lad, Lee MacLeod, that was in my year at uni when I done uni.
Oh,
and Lee was a great pal of yours and a fan of yours. I think I want to see things on Facebook of him now travelling about all the world, and he seems to end up all over the place in different places. And, one minute it's at the top of the Alps, and the next minute it's in Vietnam or something like that. It's something else.
Right.
But I remember being in course, and he was absolutely dedicated to the wooden flute. I mean, it never stopped for the moment he got up in the morning until he went to bed at night. You heard it the whole day. It just didn't stop. In fact, sometimes when you were trying to arrange something yourself, you had to go to him and kindly ask him to put it down for a wee while. That's not bad.
It has that effect on you, When I started playing the flute as well, I remember being told to shut up many times.
Well, fortunately, that didn't continue. But, piping was your first thing, though, wasn't it, with the family? Was that your first instrument, or was it?
I suppose. Well, when my two brothers were older than me, and they would bring stuff back, like mouth organs, and I think the mouth organ was actually the first
Right.
instrument I ever picked up. But I didn't carry on doing much with it when I got older. But and the whistle, of course. And I used to play around with my father's button box.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense with the mouth organ then, with the button box, doesn't it? With
So
the suki blow thing.
Yeah. And when the boys came back from school, they'd obviously when I was old enough, like when I was about 8 years old, and they'd give me the chanter. Before then, the hands sometimes aren't big enough to start playing the chanter, And my father played the chanter, but he wasn't really a piper as such, but he could play a bit. So between my father and my two brothers, they kind of started me playing before I actually went to get formal lessons.
Okay.
I could play the scale before I went to John Mackenzie in Dunblane.
Right. Yeah, good. But the thing was that, so that's when you all went to school?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
well, that was because in Glenouig, there was no road, and at least from the first 6-7 years, the road came through in 1966. My father ran the ferry actually from Lochilert to Glenouig right round to Kinlochmaudet, so everything came in by boat.
Right.
And then when the road came through, things got a bit easier.
That must have been really interesting for the music scene at that point in time then, because the music that was getting created there would have been very community based, etc., and who was there in the community.
Yeah, in Glenouig itself, there wasn't that many musicians, but round about, you go further afield to Kinlochmaudet and Harachel, and then you go the other way to Lochilert, Roshvan, Lochilert, and there's fiddlers like Farragher McRae and all his brothers. And you go over to the Harachel, and there's any number of pipers. And,
nice area to grow up in. But listen, I think what we'll do is we'll have a wee bit of music here, and then we'll come back to it and we'll speak about how you got going, etc. The first track we're going to have tonight, Davey, is
Ossian.
Ossian, thank you.
And this is a hornpipe and 2 jigs, which get introduced as part of the track. So let's just jump in.
Go with them. Yeah, sounds good.
We'll finish off our first half with these 3 tunes. The first one's a hornpipe called Duncan Johnson, and the second one's a jig called The Duck, and the third one's another jig called The Curlew. So see you later.
brilliant. Effortless. What driving that jigs there.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
A bit faster than
Yeah.
the play. Recently.
They're the kind of tunes that just want to drive themselves as well. They don't know these kind of tunes.
Yeah.
They want to work. So, your mother's side as well, Ian, you said there was pipers on your mother's side as well, was there?
Yeah, my mother was from South Uist, and her brothers were pipers. And, yeah, so
So the initial lessons on the chanter then, was that your older brothers coming back then and showing you bits and pieces? Or?
yeah, I suppose, yeah. When they came back from, they went to Dunblane as well. They were taught by John Mackenzie as well.
Okay.
Major John
So
Mackenzie.
that was their kind of first tutoring as well then, was it, John Mackenzie at Dunblane?
Yeah.
John, Dunblane, is it Dunblane school that used to wear the red tunics when they competed? Was it?
Yeah,
Still do.
Queen Victoria still do.
Still do. I remember that.
Yeah, the band used to always play at the Murrayfield at the rugby matches in Scotland.
Yeah, I remember the guys always turning up, and incredibly smart when they turned up. They were always very good looking. So what age did you have to go to school then? Was that quite young then? You went over to Dunblane?
Yeah, I think I was 10 when I went to. I spent a year in the primary and up to secondary.
She was, yeah. That's quite a big thing when you're 10 years old, leaving a place where there was no road to at one point in time to head to the.
Maybe I was 9 actually when I think it was a bit early. Yeah, but before that there was a road, but you get the train from Lochilip to Glasgow.
How did you find that going away when you were wee? Did you go on okay with
it? Yeah. I think maybe the first journey was a bit daunting, but got used to it. At that time, my brother Angus was studying in Glasgow University, so he'd always collect me off the train. Spend a few hours in the big city.
Yeah, very good. So, when you were at school there at Dunblane, then did that kind of focus on solo piping, or was the pipe band at the school? Or?
Well, the school had the pipe band, so the pipe band was the thing really. But obviously John Mackenzie, probably because my brothers had been there before, so we were all taught the same stuff. So it was for the band, but, he was a great teacher. Obviously, I loved being taught by him. As sure everybody did, because he was so good.
Am I right in saying, Ian, that when you go to Queen Victoria School, I know it's true now, but you got lined up and it went piper, drummer, dancer, piper, drummer, dancer, if you didn't have any previous experience?
Oh, see, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, cause I know they still do that now. It's piper, drummer, dance. If you've not got any, if you've not done anything beforehand.
Oh, I see.
So they've got equal numbers.
That'd be my luck.
Gender doesn't matter. Just whatever your surname is.
Yeah.
That would be my luck, wouldn't it? Ending up being a dancer.
Or worse, a drummer.
Or worse, a drummer. No, let's keep this clean. That's good. So when it came to so we got through that point. So did you start competing solo and things like that, like your brothers as well? Then the three years were.
Yes, when I was in my teens, yeah.
Right.
Well, probably after being at Dunblane, being taught by John Mackenzie a couple of years, then we'd have competitions at the school, and I remember being taken to a competition in Edinburgh.
Right.
The Eagles Pipers competition, I think it was. With all the young kids. That was great. That was great having a wee trip out. Away from the school. It
was good. Brilliant.
That's the first time I met Major Jimmy McGregor. He was a great character. Jimmy was great.
So when you were competing solo, and was it just yourself that went out with a chaperone, or was there a few of you that kind of went out to compete?
Oh, a few of us, yeah.
A few of you, yeah.
A few of us, yeah.
That's not too bad then, is it? Nice wee day out.
Yeah.
So did you ever end up competing against your brothers then?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Ah. Yeah.
And how did that go?
Well, I remember competing at the. Yeah, I mean, I beat him a couple of times.
Excellent.
Not very often, you know. I mean, I didn't, you know, by the time I became, you know, about 19 or 20 or something, and I started traveling and stuff, you know, I didn't really compete in the adult competitions anymore because I was on the road with, you know, either theatre companies or bands, and sometimes a few times I entered a competition and then I wouldn't turn up, and you know, they used to get a wee bit miffed about that, you know, so I didn't bother entering. But I used to go to some of the games, you know, here and there for years after that.
Well, you briefly mentioned that there yourself there about the theatre companies, because of course you were an actor as well. And you done quite a bit of acting.
That's a stretch of it. Yeah, I was working in Sky after I was about 17, and there was a lady there who she was a theatre director, and she's from Sky, Myra Truss, and she wanted to put together a Gaelic theatre company, and she asked me if I would be interested in, you know, being part of it, as you know, being a Gaelic speaker and a musician and whatever. You know, so that's what happened. We put together. There was a few of us. Simon Mackenzie, who's quite a well-known Gaelic actor. Alan Smith from Ness and Lewis, and Marishina Campbell. She was Mackay. Cathy Ann McPhee from Barra.
I saw Cathy had a comment on there earlier on, actually.
She's watching that.
And that's it. We did an audition in Glasgow, and we were based in Tarbert, in Harris, in the Isle of Harris.
Right.
And that was the beginning of that. We had 3.5 years of that. We were touring all over Scotland. It was great fun.
Tell you what, I'd rather be in Tarbert than Hollywood anyway. That's for sure. Nicer beaches and nicer folk.
Very true.
Yeah.
I remember going many years ago, 30 odd years ago, to play with Bill Black's dance band at Tarbert at a dance. And we had to go to the pub first and play a few tunes there, and we did. Then we went to the hall. Yeah, we went to the hall, and it was like midnight, and there was still not a sign of a person to be seen. There was nobody to be seen. And we eventually found a hallkeeper to even let us in. He let us in the end. And we got set up. And then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, this hall just filled with the gunnels. But nobody had told us as a band, the incomers, that nobody had forgot to mention that there's no bar, and everybody took their own drink with them and things. So it was a bit of a kind of night in the desert for us, I'm afraid. It wasn't just great. But no, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed playing down there. It was good. So anyway, let's go another bit of music. What are we going to have this time?
Yes, we are going to have a video of the three brothers playing, Iain, Alan and Dr. Angus. So yeah, let's have a look at this. Here we go.
Magic.
I thought we were going to kick off there for a minute.
Yeah, it was good. It was nobody was hanging back.
There.
Nobody was hanging back. It was fantastic. Tell me, I said no awkward questions, and it's not really an awkward question, this, but the three is as brothers, as siblings. Did you ever have extremely different ideas or opinions about how stuff should be played? Or
Well, sometimes, when we're rehearsing and, we'd have slightly different versions of certain tunes,
yeah.
we didn't fall out of it.
No.
But, I mean, mostly it's fairly close, stuff we played, but there'd be the odd different bar or two here and there,
Yeah. One thing I was speaking to Davey about earlier there, just before we come back on, was that I respect, like say yourselves, the MacDonald brothers. You're very respectful of composers and the music itself, and I know, like so Davey and I share that very same thought processing thing. Davey's doing a lot of book printing and putting stuff together for the army books and all that kind of stuff. And as for myself, I've always felt if somebody's gone to the bother of writing us a nice tune, at least we can do is credit them with it kind of style thing. It kind of drives me a bit nuts when performers stand up and say, well, here's a tune, but I can't mind the name of it, and I can't mind who composed it. And then the next one's, I can't mind who composed it either. And but I think that's quite important to you, isn't it, as well? Just take credit.
Yeah, it is. And, when I travel, to other places, people talk about when they introduce tunes, and even if it's just a traditional tune, they'll say who they got it from. Even if they don't know who the composer is. And I think, and that happens in Ireland a lot. This is a well-known tune or something, but this is the version I got from such and such. So I think it's just nice to name check somebody, or this is the person that taught me it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
and it kills some time as well. Get your breath back.
But
that's true.
But I always think that Gaelic culture, is very much a storytelling culture as well. That an interest in keeping the history going, kind of style thing. I think it's nice. It's good.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the reels and things that you play, the pipe reels, we don't hear half of them, kind of style thing, or see half of them written down. Some of you guys seem to know an awful lot of them that are just there and have been handed down through the years, kind of style thing. And because there's some absolute belters, there's some absolute crackers. There's just great tunes out there.
Okay, I mean, there's so many books as well that you can go back to all these old collections, go back to the 1700s. You can pick up a lot of stuff that people haven't heard much at all.
Yeah, there was quite a kind of resurgence in Gaelic music getting played, even in the pipe band world there. About 15, 20 years ago, it became kind of quite a big thing again. And it was really interesting to see it, and then I think it opened up the doors again, that folks said, look at all these beautiful melodies we've got lying about here that we've not been using again. And it had done its circle thing. So, but because there's quite a few pipers we've had on over the times, and they'd sourced, went back to source and stuff like that, and it was really nice to hear all of it, So it's awful good. So right. So we got through school. We'd learned how to play the pipes a bit. Now you said yourself there, you went on the road, and that kind of put an end to the maybe so much the solo competing or that, and the bands, pipe band stuff, for instance. So you'd got more involved with the folk scene. Was the first kind of bands to come along like Ossian and that? Was that the first, or were you playing with other folk first and then?
Yeah, Austin did a tour with the Verklish, the Gaelic Theatre Company.
Okay.
Did the music for one of the productions, and that's probably the first band I was in contact with, really. And I kind of knew them. I didn't actually join them also until a few years after that. But, and that's I remember one a production that we were doing called the Nietzsche Heritage in the Silver Whistle. The lady who was the director, she had a flute that she bought in London when she was at the Old Vic, I think it was, and she picked it up. But she just said she never got around to playing it. And it was, she said to me, try that and maybe learn it for the next production, for this play coming up. I said, fine, yeah, I'll try that. And of course, I had it for a couple of weeks, I think. I gave it back to her and said, there's no chance I'll be able to do this for 6 weeks or whatever it was, And I was listening to the Gaelic radio one day, a week or two after that, and I heard this music that sounded very like the black flute that I'd just given back to Meredith, and I thought it sounds fantastic, So, and I'd never heard of this guy, and I ordered the LP from shop in Stornoway. They didn't have it in. It was a new album. So eventually it arrived. It was Matt Malloy's first album, And I'd never heard of him. So I think I asked her for the flute back, and the flute, and I just copied everything I could from that album. That's basically how I started playing the flute.
Right.
And and she eventually, I bought the flute off her, and that's the one I used for years.
Right.
That's how I got into flute. And after the Verklish went down, it was about 1981, I think. And I went away busking to Europe. I went around France and Switzerland and Germany, Belgium, with a friend of mine. I was actually working as a barman in Glenelg Inn.
Right.
This fellow, he was a piper. He was in the army. A friend called Davy Garrett, and he was a piper and dancer as well. He was a dancer in the army, so he had a kind of thing going busking,
A wee act good.
And I had a great month or 5 weeks going around Europe. And I came back to Glasgow and met the Austin boys in the pub just the day we arrived back. And they said, look, thanks for joining the band. I said, yeah, do I have time to think about it? And I said, yeah, we're leaving the day after tomorrow.
It was. That was the audition, was it?
So I got up to Glenelg, did my laundry, and came back down, And the first gig was in the main stage at Cambridge Folk Festival. So
Holy.
Busy learning the tunes in the van going down to Cambridge. So that's how Austin started for me.
That's quite something, having to learn stuff that you're going to have to play nearly, well, no part of the band, but as solo playing. I mean, in a pipe band, you kind of scrape by because you kind of get by it sometimes and things, but Cambridge Folk Festival on stage, there's no anywhere to hide, really, is there?
Yeah,
no.
Well, luckily, I knew a few of the tunes that they played, and we kind of made up a couple of pipe sets for it.
So was Aussie on the go then before you joined then? That was the.
Oh yeah. They wouldn't go for a few years before I joined.
Right. Okay.
And they didn't have a piper before. It was a 4-piece. They had a singer called Billy Ross who lives in Skye. You know Billy. And Tony Cuff had just joined before I did. maybe a year before I did.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I kind of think of Ossian without the pipes, so that's obviously when you were in it, and I would say that was a successful point because they made that sound that was just. It became the point, didn't it? It was a new thing in folk bands to use big pipes and things like that again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose the only bands really, well, the Battlefield band had Duncan McGilvery, and there was Alan MacLeod, who was in the Tannies.
Yeah.
And I think one of the very first bands that was, I think Alan MacLeod was in a band called Alba.
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Was Dick Gaughan not an Alba?
Was
Dick Gaughan not an Alba? He was an Alba as well, wasn't he?
Oh, no, that's Clan Alba.
Clan Alba. Sorry. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Aye. All right.
The Whistle Dinkies, of course, but they were
Aye.
Brad Wallace was in the Whistle Dinkies.
So that was the start of the touring, which you'd done for a number of years.
Yeah. We were probably about 9 years or so. 8 or 9 years.
And quite a number of albums with Ossian as well. There was quite a lot of albums coming out.
Yeah. I think it was 3 or 4 albums that I did anyway.
Do you think, well, I suppose playing whistles and flute and all that would have been good in that situation as well then, because if you had just been a piper, you know it's limited a wee bit, whereas with the folk band you can play the flute and the whistles and things like that as well.
It was a good fit, and it was good for my flute playing because I was really just learning, still when I joined us.
Yeah, I'll ask you about your flute.
So according to my Wikipedia search, the Tannies had Alan MacLeod in 1977. The Batties had I've lost him. Duncan McGilvery in 1979.
Yeah.
And then Ossian had yourself in 1981.
Right. About the same time.
Oh, within years of each other, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 3 touring bands. And that ended up, you ended up with Ossian touring the States and everything, didn't you? You were all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, you spent a lot of time in America, actually.
Yeah.
It was probably, there weren't that many bands touring at that time. Apart from the Tannies and then, Silly Wizard. They were probably needed a lot more touring than us in the go before. So.
Yeah.
So it's really quite a new thing. I remember the first tour we did in America, which was it ended up being 10 weeks instead of the planned 7 weeks, because towards the end of the tour we were invited up to Alaska. Like one of the last gigs Billy said we had a phone call saying this guy's asked us to go to Alaska, and what do you think? There's only 8 gigs and we've got to be there for 3 weeks.
Right.
That'll be around the same sort of time whereas Martin Haddon left his sombrero in Anchorage. We discussed last week.
Martin Haddon was on the show last week, and Martin was telling us, he had apparently left his sombrero somewhere in Anchorage, But Martin also said last week when Silly Wizard went to begin with the first tours, and that it was all by road and things. They were traveling huge distances, and then they started flying laterally, because it was just. But I always remember Ian McInnes, the piper, because Ian played with the Tannies as well. And I mind us talking about that, and he said one of the worst things was sitting in a van all day in an autobahn in Germany or something like that for 6 hours, hearing the engine steady, and then getting out and trying to tune your drone with this noise. And he said if it was anywhere close to B flat, it was so annoying because it was just that sound was in your head.
Yeah.
Could you slow the band down a bit, please? We're an A here.
We're going to have another video, and it's yourself and Ian McFarlane
Oh yes, great.
And if I remember rightly, it's a set of jigs starting with the green shades of Gask.
Oh, yes.
So that'll be from your album, which I've lost the name of it, The First Harvest.
First Harvest. Yeah.
When was that released again? Was that
2003, I think.
Yeah. Okay. 20 years ago now.
20 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
music doesn't age. So here we go. Here's a set of jigs.
Fabulous.
Fantastic as always. Fantastic as always.
I think this dog would make a good spawn, Davey. I think it's got that.
I don't think it makes a good dog.
No.
It'd make a good beard for Ian, like.
Come on, anyway. Ian, fantastic. Did you find? Did you enjoy being on the road? Did you enjoy that lifestyle?
I did, to a certain extent. I think for the last few years that I did it, I got kind of burnt out a little bit, you know.
Yeah. So after touring, I mean, you played with Ocean, you played with the Battlefield Band as well for a wee while.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you with the Batties once.
Right.
And you also went into doing quite a bit of tuition yourself, didn't you?
Well, at the time, probably doing a fair tuition as patient, you know.
Yeah.
Patients,
It's been a great. It's been great the fashion right through, to be honest, for everybody, getting people going, etc. It's been brilliant.
Yeah, when I moved to US, of course, I started teaching at the college here. So
yeah, that's what I met you that last time when we met down at the college there, and it's a fantastic facility. But you're teaching now. Tell me, is it an organisation you work for now as well?
It's Lewis Castle College campus, but it's now joined up with the West, the Harbour, between Stornoway and Benbecula, and West as well. So it's kind of
because this is the new build, isn't it? The new building that's been.
Yeah, well, I'm working for CAL, it's the Gaelic organisation, Gaelic Arts organisation. So I've been with them since 2004.
Okay.
We had planned to build, you know, a kind of arts centre, you know, a base for CALS and a performance area.
Right.
So, you know, it just happened the UHI, the college, were looking for a home for the course as well. A bigger place.
Right.
So we collaborated on that. So we're in partnership with the college, with UHI.
Right.
Both moved into the same building. So
right.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
Because when I was down, it was Anna Wendy Stevenson was still out, and Simon Bradley were still out beside you.
Yeah.
I think that are they left Island now though?
Just left. They both still work doing the same job, you know.
Yeah.
Anna Wendy runs all the colleges for the BA course.
Okay. And it was Archina that was at the office that used to always work out how I was going to get them back.
Yes, Archina.
Yeah, so it was. I'm sure when I phoned up, it's me for Shetland. It was like, oh no, here we go again. We're going to get them there this time. And
get you sorted out.
I'm trying to think, who was it that worked with the Gaelic choir? That was the gentleman that was there for years. I remember he was there when I was there. It was great fun. He ended up luring me into the Gaelic choir for a day, which was bad news because I couldn't speak Gaelic and I couldn't sing either. So it wasn't the best thing, but it was good fun. It was good fun, but that was what happens when you get bog bound and Benbecula, you know. So that was that. But have you enjoyed doing that sort of side of things, working with young folk and things, and working?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. It's been great. Yeah. It's a bit quieter now since the pandemic. You know, because people get used to working online and stuff. But hopefully it'll get better again. And we have a few students in US the last year or two, but it's not like it was, you know.
I think that the amazing thing about UIST was that when you went there, you know, because it was a residential course and people went there, they couldn't help but kind of taking on the culture that was round about them as well. And
well, that's the thing.
I think if you're going to learn something, you need to be in the middle of it. I mean, if you're going to learn Spanish, go to Spain. You know, that's the kind of thing. You know, and it's just.
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, when the college was building up, Anna Wendy was working away, advertising, and over the years, it's the word of mouth. You know, probably around the students, and it's more and more started coming here, and just with the whole experience of being in the Gaelic-speaking community, with a lot of musicians here as well. You know, and the music, the singing. It's definitely an attraction, you know.
Yeah, a friend of mine was out there about 3 years ago. Paul Campbell, guitarist.
Dundee.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. He decided just to kind of up sticks and go to Bickley and study music. And I remember him telling a story. I can't remember who it was. Said to him, and he says, "Oh, you'll need to do an essay, like a 15,000 word essay, to pass this course." And he went, "I might." He wasn't too. He was there for the experience, not for the bit of paper at the end of it. Because whatever. I think he ended up teaching as well.
Yeah, it's been interesting over the years. Like you've had folk from kind of all over Europe and the world arriving as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember when I was going about Iain MacDonald that was playing the fiddle. Remember Jamie that played fiddle?
Jamie was here the other night. Yeah.
Was he? Aye. Yeah. And then Christian from Austria that played along with him. And because Christian went out and he stayed out there and done the course, and it was great. You know, it was really nice way for all these people to meet. And I remember for myself, there was one night and they took us to the Gregory pub, was it at the time? It was on the go. And they got a lady to come in and to sing us Gaelic song. And I sitting in that situation where we were just all sitting and it was like somebody sitting singing in the kitchen kind of stuff. That to me was the most I've taken on for Gaelic singing ever. When I heard it natural and raw, just like that, it was absolute. Oh, gee whiz, the atmosphere and the feeling you got for it. Even though I couldn't speak the language, it was just, it was incredible, you know. So there's definitely something for going to the place to be in. So nipping back to piping, who were your big influences? Would you say then? Who would you?
I suppose. Well, when I was younger, I'd be going around with the brothers and hearing all sorts of, competitions. Not that I was competing, when I was in the early teens. And I heard a lot of them. I think one of the biggest influences, and probably all of us, is my cousin by me, Angus MacDonald. And he was an amazing player, but a character, and just it was really, really helpful and encouraging, for playing.
Absolutely.
When I was a kid, learning the chant, maybe I was 10, 11. Angus's father, who was actually from Glenelg, he joined the police and spent his life in the Glasgow police. But he always came back in the summer. He had a caravan just outside Glenelg, and he would say to me, "Why don't you come on up and play a few tunes in the chanter?" So I used to go out on the bicycle and play in the chanter to the front of the bicycle. And then again, just get a few. He was a great piper himself, although I don't think he ever competed really. Sunday,
Right. Because Angus MacDonald, Angus was pipe major of the police, wasn't he?
No, he was Scots Guards.
Scots Guards, sorry. Yeah. It's amazing the connections with the West Coast and the police, though, wasn't it, over the years? Because there was a lot of players for the West Coast.
Serving
the police.
There's a few of them went from Glenelg alone to. There was Alan McPherson. He went from Glenelg to around about the same time as Sandy.
Right.
He lived next door. It's the older settlement in Glenelg called Nursery. He came from there. That's Alan McPherson that Angus wrote the tune for.
As in Moss Park.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favourite 6/8s. It's an absolute great tune.
Yeah.
The thing I like about it is when I play it in the accordion, instead of it being an A major chord, you can put an F sharp minor chord to the very first chord because it goes adds that progression right out. That's great. Wonderful tune, wonderful tune, full of harmony. When you write a melody like that, it's easy to put harmony in it because it's just
That's great, Jim.
We're going to have another video.
cool.
Sorry, 2 seconds. There you go. Pipe Major Angus once told me that Iain was the best musician he knew, the best out of them all.
There we go.
Who's that?
That's Keith McKenzie. Yeah, we're going to have another video. We've got one with Alan on small pipes. It's the set with that finished off with the Little's Cascade. I think this was for Transatlantic Session, wasn't it?
I think it was the Highland Session. Oh,
was it Highland Session? Scottish Sessions.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely a BBC one.
Yeah.
So let's listen. It does end abruptly at the end, but let's have we listen to this one.
No matter. It's good.
It's a rare treat and something very special indeed when Alan and Iain MacDonald, 2 of 3 piping brothers from Glenuig, get to play together.
No, that's great. It's magic.
So, according to the Highland Sessions CD, that was Cutty's Wedding, The Flagon, and then Little Cascade.
Mm.
Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Glad you got that right. We kind of mentioned Alan's composing earlier on. Do you do a lot of composing yourself, or have you done in the past?
A wee bit. I've written a few tunes, nothing nothing anything near what Alan's written, you know.
Yeah, he's at 200 or something now, is he?
Well, probably more than
And
that.
then some. Yeah, probably more. Yeah, well, first 2 books.
Yeah.
So is there any tunes of your own that kind of stand out to you as ones that have been kind of picked up by other folk over others?
There's one I wrote for my wife, actually.
Mhm.
And Kechny's favourite, Stewie Real.
Mhm.
Few people have played that one.
Right.
It's not too bad, is it?
And,
That's the thing. As if one tune gets picked up, that's the whole purpose, isn't it, of passing on the music?
Yeah. Yeah, but 2 or 3 tunes have been picked up by a few people, but so I don't do a lot of composing really.
No.
Did Angus compose much as well, or was he?
Angus has composed quite a few tunes, yeah.
So between the 3 issues, I've got a few collections there, I reckon. Dave.
Oh yeah, I mean, Angus is things like
The MacDonald brothers, the real MacDonald brothers. not that lot that was on the telly. Actually, you know the 2 boys, the MacDonald brothers, actually, I know they're fine, but they actually play accordion and fiddle as well.
Oh, do they?
When they come up here, they to do something with the schools, and one of them got in touch, could he borrow a box? And he was a good player. Aye, they could play. They could play. They were all right. They were fine. It wasn't just bass at rollers. Songs they covered after all. So that's stuff.
True.
See, when you brought up a Gaelic speaker, then Ian, yeah. So, because we're going to hear a song that you're playing on next.
Right.
So, what about did you sing yourself then? Did you find that part of the culture that you were singing there?
Yeah, I used to sing at the local mobs when I was
Okay. Yeah. Do you think singing a song will help you interpret it then? If you went to play it on the pipes, for instance, or something, or the flute?
Well, knowing the melody and you know the phrasing of
the story as such.
It would help me play.
Yeah.
You know, when you know the song in your head, it helps you. Kind of steers you to where you'd put the ornaments and stuff. But it wouldn't really, you know, even if you're not a Gaelic speaker, you can still pick up a good song.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I often think about it myself because I play, you know, some Gaelic tunes and some Gaelic waltzes and things like that. But we always hear in the accordion world, for instance, of the expertise, you like to the late Bobby McLeod and people like that from Mull that could really play these tunes, you know, and Colin Campbell and people like that. They could really nail these tunes, you know. And I always feel a wee bit, you know, you're always playing them and thinking, I hope I'm getting this right kind of style thing, because they just had that bit more understanding of the tune, if you know what I mean. But we are going to have a song. And the song, tell us, Davey. Yeah, I know. I wanted to hear you speaking Gaelic, you see.
I'm not going to. I found the translation. It's a song. It says we have Kathleen McInnes playing on, and it translates as the sun. Is it Agrian?
Agrian, yeah.
There we go.
Not bad, Davey. That was pretty good, Davey. That was pretty good.
Not bad for Dundonian. So
and the sun's just gone down the hill here, but I'm looking at the window, so that's fine. So.
Yes, a bit apt. So let's have a listen to this song. It's a cracker.
Just heen ag ddian yn draw, stw siwl art yn spyr. Do cheim of tren ysgein na, stw an gialis gan scal. O geiddi suas eith stwag na maring og fofla. Hamish yn dochus nara nach cwth gia morn yn gras. As y gos y solas yn gras mar awsa gamma galano. Just heen ag ddian yn dra, stw siwl art yn spyr. Do chym af tren esgein na stw mahed ein yn reil.
Again,
Yeah.
cut off bloody BBC.
Yeah.
And that was from,
Yeah.
is it Blash Kjol, it's called the show?
Oh yeah, I can't remember that
Was-
one. I remember doing it in
Yeah.
Glasgow. I can't remember what the show was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in the Tron Theatre in Glasgow, apparently.
Yes, that's right.
That wasn't yesterday.
No, it was not. Well, Ian, listen, thank you so much for coming on tonight and having a blather with us. It's been absolutely splendid to see you again and
Mhm.
have you on. And
And
it's
yourself.
just an honour to have you guys on that are the ambassadors of the piping world, to be honest.
No, thanks very much for having me on.
Music
It's,
Hall of Famer.
A Music Hall of Fame. Yeah. Yes, yeah. It's I think we should start a thing somewhere like one of these stars things, like they have in Hollywood, you know, that you walk along.
Uh,
But there'd be an argument where it would be, probably.
Just digressing slightly. Do you know that they get charged $10,000 a year to have their star there?
Do they?
really?
You
Yeah.
forget that.
Yeah, the artists get, because it's all about the upkeep and all that sort of stuff. It's all charged,
Right, I didn't know that.
which is
to
why
hang
a lot of
on.
them do it with their deed, because then it's a trust that pays for it.
Oh, that's nice. All right, well, mind and pop one up for me sometime, David. That would be nice.
I hope we.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to finish off tonight, Ian, with a few tunes that we've got you playing. Davey, you're going to have to help me out here again. Say it again because I can't mind.
Which one's that?
Bull. What is it?
Go on, Ian.
First JBL.
Yeah,
There we go.
and it's a fantastic set of tunes. Ian, thank you so much for coming on. It's been great. I hope you got on fine, and we'll see you sometime about somewhere, hopefully.
Great, yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you in real life and no this internet-y thingy. That would be good. So anyway, thanks, Ian. Thanks for coming on. Take care, sir.
Ian,
Take
think of
care.
a
Cheers.
Right.
Man, their time's awesome.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. So that was
do you not think what a nice Highland gentleman, incredibly modest?
Yep.
I like the way the Americans there went, wow, awesome, and he kind of went,
I could have played better.
what an
No, that's
amazing
fantastic. That was
What an amazing
from
musician.
Transatlantic Sessions.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And that
Brilliant.
tune, that last tune, I'm playing it. I'm like, I know this tune. I don't know why I don't know this tune, because the title's in Gaelic, and it's known as it's the Prince of Wales.
All right, okay.
That's the way I know it. There's the yeah,
Right, okay.
Prince of Wales real.
There we go.
And the tune. So according to this, it was the Christmas Spree was the first tune.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Gaelic title, English version. Kate Breton, Pusha Boyle, which is the way I know it as well. We played it in the Tattoo in 2009.
Right.
Anne McKechnie's favourite, and then the Prince of Wales.
Great
There you go.
tunes.
Cracking set.
Absolutely fantastic. Thoroughly nice interview tonight. It's smashing to speak to a knowledgeable fellow like you. Great.
And the thing is, because that was such a great interview, we're going to take a week off.
We are.
There's
Unfortunately,
no way we can
well,
come back
actually,
to
it's kind of my fault. I'm away at a festival playing.
Hold on. How do you think it's kind of your fault?
What is? But wait, have you not got a pipe band competition on that day as well?
Nope, wedding.
A wedding? Have you? On a Sunday?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a wedding that was I think it was during COVID it was supposed to be. So they kept on moving it back.
All right. So Davey's got a wedding on. I've got a folk festival in Orkney to play at. So unfortunately, we won't be with you next week, folks. But we will be back the week after. And the week
June the
after,
4th.
we have a young lady originally from Gloucester in Massachusetts, USA. Fiddle player and singer Emerald Ray. And she's got that amazing thing where she plays fiddle and sings at the same time and all that. It's really cool. I remember doing a few concerts with the fellow Bruce Molsky, and he done the same with the old time fiddle and sung, and that was quite amazing. And really looking forward to having Emerald on. I think she's actually living in Nashville now, so she's going to do the show for Nashville that night as well. We're getting very international these days, aren't we?
We are.
Benbecula tonight, Nashville in a fortnight. It's no bother. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, look forward to seeing you. Have you got a competition next weekend though?
No, we've got just got a wedding.
Be able to get the pipes seasoned then.
2 weeks playing. I'm missing band practice on Thursday, so that's gonna be fun. So yeah, might give them a quick blow on Saturday.
So,
hopefully the weather holds.
Yeah.
But yeah,
anyway,
it was good. It was good.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thanks very much to Iain MacDonald coming on and being our guest. It was a fantastic night. Davey, thank you. Say hello to the family. And I've got a day off the one because it's a long weekend. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. And then you're going gallivanting next weekend. Huh?
Then gallivanting next week. Right. See you later, folks. Good night. Thank you. Cheers.